Is it different?
I would say like now I'm kind of used to the physicality. Like I've seen everything. Like I've played on the biggest stages and stuff. I'm way stronger than I was. I have way better ball skills. Yeah, I feel like I've just kind of rounded out the weaknesses of my game and kind of turned them into strengths.
What were those weaknesses that you thought you had that you've now turned into strengths?
Ball handling, um, creating off the dribble for myself and my teammates, and I would also say finishing at the rim. I've kind of gotten way better at that, absorbing contact.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, how much more is Coach Huggins throwing stuff at you as far as responsibilities this year? And is that something you guys talked about going into the preseason? Like, he kind of comes up and says, hey, we need you to do this or a little bit more of this, as opposed to, what they asked you to do last year?
Last year I was kind of just filling a role, filling the gap that we had at the forward position. And this year he's kind of told me that he needs me to be more aggressive, look for my own shot, and also use my shot to create for myself and my teammates. That's basically it.
Does that come easily, or is that something you kind of work on each day in practice? Or?
I put a focus on it every single day in practice, and even on off days when I'm in the gym by myself or with my dad. That's just kind of something we work on. It's really a mindset thing, I would say.
I mean, it's one thing being told to shoot more or be more aggressive. It's another thing to actually go out.
Yeah, because I've really never played in a system to where I just had to be that guy and take a lot of shots, and I wasn't really comfortable doing it. But as we go day by day, I'm starting to get more comfortable having a more assertive role.
Hugs goes four out. How does that work with you guys?
Um, it allows us to space the floor a lot. It also gives the big space to operate, and at the same time, if he clears out, it opens up driving lanes for the rest of us. And it's really difficult to guard because we have a lot of different movements and screens that we can do out of it. It's really hard to guard.
Who's the four out? Who's the one in?
Um, Whoever the big is in the lineup, and then it's probably the four most, like, I don't know how to say it, the four guys that have the most ball skills that can make a pass, shoot, and just move the ball, get movement in the offense.
Could you be five out if Isaiah's in there?
I think we absolutely could be five out if Isaiah's in.
And if he's out, does that give you driving lanes?
Yes, it opens up the floor because the defense will be spread, and even if they're in help, you drive, they have to help. You can kick it out to a wide open shooter, and it just breaks down the defense.
Along those lines, does it seem during this that you have more room to work on the floor now with the way it's set up with you guys?
Yeah, I would say so. It's like I said, it spaces out the defense more. Those driving lanes that weren't there previously, now you can get all the way to the basket, and even if help comes, you read the rotations, and it's just so much more spread out that it's way easier to play like that.
I mean, before when you went to the rim, you had Derek there, and he usually had two guys around, so it was pretty clogged up.
Yeah, as soon as the ball went into Derek, it's like the defense just collapses, and that just shuts everything down, and it makes it really difficult to get something out of that possession.
And last year it seems like you got comfortable shooting corner threes and maybe just a step out and whatever. Is that something conscious that you did, or is that just a place where you see it well and feel comfortable?
Um, I would say the corner is the shortest three-pointer, so that could be why, but I feel anytime I shoot the ball, I'm confident in that shot. So if I wasn't confident, I wouldn't shoot the ball.
And they're talking with Tyler. He said he's making a lot more analytics available. We've got the shot tracker and all that other stuff in there now. Do you take advantage of that? Do you look at that, where your shots are coming from, and kind of try to tailor things to that?
We had a kind of a preseason meeting, and we went over our shot chart with like Coach Harrison and Tyler. I noticed that I really didn't have anything in the mid-range area. It was all either at the rim or around the three-point line. So I looked at that as I need to be more aggressive off the bounce and try to create for myself in the mid-range game and maybe draw a defender and kick it off to a teammate, get them a shot.
Jalen, has it been a process at all to look out there on the court and not see Derek, not see Deuce, and getting used to not having those guys playing with you guys anymore?
I would say it's definitely different, but we have a great group of guys that we have a lot of different pieces to build around, and I would say it's definitely weird because I came in with those guys, and it's only me, Sean, Taz, and Gabe that were here when I first got here. So it's definitely weird, but we're all a close-knit group, so it's really not that different or weird.
Jalen, the analytics craze is that the long two or the two-pointer is a terrible shot, though, right?
Yeah, but it's a very effective shot because a lot of times when you put the ball down, the defender's going to expect you to try to get all the way to the basket. So if you pull up, a lot of times you'll have a wide-open shot.
Something else that's maybe a little bit different, but maybe also effective. Listening to Taz and Gabe, you don't necessarily have to have like a pure, old school one on the floor. It could be Sean or Taz or even you that does some ball handling. What would it be like if it was 3 guards, 2 forwards, or 3 shooting guards, 2 forwards, something like that? Still work?
I feel like it would still work. I feel like with this team, we have a lot of different lineups that we can go with and still be effective. As far as the not having a traditional one, having a point guard that is also looking for their own offense is really good because it messes up the defense that much more. And how should I say this? And it kind of like helps you create for yourself. And I forget what I was about to say. I kind of messed up. My bad.
Come back.
Yeah.
It was a good point. You were going somewhere.
I was going somewhere. It's just
I get what I'm saying. That you think
Yeah.
about, like there's always a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, but it sounds like it could be 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it really wouldn't be a hindrance at all.
yeah, because we're all capable ball handlers, so we don't necessarily need that traditional pass first type point guard.
JB, Taz mentioned this. He said he thought there were times last year when he was guilty and maybe the others were guilty of watching Derek go get rebounds.
Yeah.
You feel that way? And is it going to be more of a team deal this year?
Yeah, I definitely felt that way. I've said it countless times in interviews after games and stuff that we got to help DC out down there. And Hugs told me, like, I need you to rebound. So you'll see me crashing the glass, offensive, defensive, whatever. I'm going to be battling for every single rebound.
Sometimes, as Gabe mentioned, sometimes maybe even 2 going opposite.
Yeah, we try to get the 3, 4, and the 5 on the opposite side, but obviously sometimes the 4 is going to be the one shooting the ball, the 3 is going to be the one shooting the ball, and we usually get our 2 guards back. So we try to.
How is that 1 and 2 guards rotating back then?
It's been good. Everybody, it's kind of self-explanatory. Like, point guard get back, 2 guards stop the ball. And then the other 3 get opposite if you can. Try your best to get opposite.
Along those lines, that's a lot of running for the bigs to crash the glass and go from one length of the floor to the other and then play the defense.
Yeah, but Sean Brown did a great job at conditioning this summer, and I think we're all prepared for it. That's what we signed up for.
Are you guys a better team with Sean and Taz on the floor together, or is it better to have one of them out there at a time and maybe get shots for other guys?
I would say that can really go either way. They're obviously 2 of the best shooters in the conference, and having 2 players like that on the court at the same time, that really stretches the defense out and not only creates shots and opportunities for them, but for the rest of the team. But if you bring one of them off the bench, it would also potentially bring a lot of scoring, a huge spark off the bench. So you could really play that however you want.
How do you become more consistent this season?
You said what?
How do you become more consistent?
Just by, I feel like last year when I would miss shots and stuff and all that, I'd get down on myself, but I've really developed kind of a next shot mentality, next play mentality. If I make a mistake, screw it, just move on, because it's a 40-minute game, it's a long game. Sometimes it comes down to one possession, but that one mistake, it might not be that important as you're making it to be on yourself.
Jalen, the number of guys you guys have on the roster this year, obviously it's a much larger number than at any time before. Even in things like in practice and stuff, is it different having that many guys out there?
It's definitely different because when I came here at first and last year, we really didn't have that many subs. Like we had 12 guys that were in the drill, and then we had a couple walk-ons. But now we have 3 lineups, basically three sets of 5. So it allows everybody to get like a hands-on experience. Like when we're going through plays, second group watches, third group watches, and it kind of helps everyone get a sense of continuity with each other and see what's going on.
You'll be a different kind of rebounder, obviously, than Derek, coming from the wing a lot, whereas he coming from the post, and you're not going to beat people up probably to grab the rebounds like he did. So what do you focus on to get to the rim, to get to your spot? What are the coaches working with you?
They teach opposite and inside. You can get opposite, but if there's someone in front of you, they're obviously going to get the rebound over you, especially if they're a taller, bigger guy. So they tell us get opposite and inside, create that position. So if it's a short rebound, you're there. If it's a long rebound, you can probably run around the bigger guy and go get it. So that's really what they harp on us about.
And then looking, do you have to read a little bit? I mean, in addition to opposite saying, hey, here's the path I've got to go, you know, when that shot goes up, see what the best way is to get to the rim?
Whenever I go opposite, I kind of look at the flight of the ball, so I can usually tell if it's going to be short or long. And usually when it's long, I'll kind of back up and try to get around the big so I can get on the outside. But a lot of the times, just being opposite, say the 2 other bigs go up and it's one from our team, one from their team, they're battling for the rebound. Sometimes it gets tapped and it gets tapped right to you. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about it, but being opposite definitely is a key to it.
Yeah, Isaiah is obviously a kid who spent the offseason. He's much bigger, stronger. He just looks like a different kid than he did.
Yeah.
But he obviously, injured, only played in a few games last year. So a year later, kind of, where is he? What is he doing? What has he been showing you guys?
Isaiah's been great so far. He's just as athletic as he was. He's way stronger. He's much more of a physical presence than he used to be. And at the same time, he can stretch the floor. He knocks down shots from the mid post, extended post, and from the 3. And he has pretty good ball skills. So he brings a lot of versatility to the table.
His confidence level. I mean, you would think with the time that he missed that maybe he's got to work on confidence level, but it seems like he's kind of right there.
I would say at first he was kind of weary about it, but now he's back to normal, I'd say.
You see yourself a little bit in him, or him a little bit in you, or?
I would say we have very similar play styles, except he's a little bit more back to the basket. But he's a little bit bigger. He's a couple inches taller, like 20 pounds heavier. But I would say we're definitely pretty similar on and off the court.
It's kind of interesting, Jalen, because a lot of people think he's like this pick and pop guy who just floats around the perimeter. But you mentioned back to the basket. Gabe said he dunks on a lot of people. What's the other side of the coin that we haven't seen? Because it's mostly 3-point shooting is what we've heard, but you've seen different.
He can really post up. He has a great post game. He has great footwork, and he's more agile than a lot of bigs that we'll play against. So he can really face up, face the basket, maybe jab this way, go the other way, and beat the big to the basket and go shoot a post hook or a layup or maybe dunk on somebody.
Do you have a rim protector this year?
You name it. You name it. That's a tough one. It's definitely between Damon, Cinny, and Paulie, but those guys every day, like, not many people get dunked on anymore. Like, everything at the rim, you better shield the ball, because if not, it's getting sent the other way.
Not quite to Sag's level, but better?
I wouldn't say at that level, but as a group, maybe that level.
So if you get beat, there's somebody there to...
There's somebody there cleaning up, absolutely.
Jalen, over the summer, I think you got a chance to host a basketball camp. I was kind of wondering, with NIL, obviously that afforded you that chance to go out and be able to charge and make a little money off of it, but also be able to help some kids. I mean, just kind of talk about that experience.
It's always great to be able to give back to your community, especially being on this stage in this great state. It's like every little kid's dream to be doing what I'm doing. So it's just great to try to instill that hard work ethic and try to keep their heads straight and just tell them if you work hard enough, no matter what you want to do in this world, you can accomplish that. And that's really what I was trying to do through that camp. I wasn't really focused on the money as much as the like overall impact that it could have on them kids' lives.
But without that rule, though, you wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have been able to do that at all.
Anything else for Jalen? Thanks, JV.